Okay, part 2 of our psychic abilities for beginner witches. And I hope so far you're enjoying this. This could be a really long part of our series though, because there's so many different ways to practice these abilities, and there's so many different outlets to of divination and stuff to practice with, that we could go on and on and on probably forever just about this and never run out of stuff to look at, new stuff and new ways. And I want to find, and I'm trying to remember in my little brain, I took a psychic mediumship class, which was absolutely incredible, but I need to find the notes in that to remember all of the exercises that we did to really beef up and develop the mediumship part of it. But, until then I remember some of it, but not all of it. I would like to have all of it in front of me. I just have to remember what notebooks. I have lots of notebooks that have like 10 or 20 pages written on in the beginning and then nothing. So I have to look through them all to see. Okay, so the second part here, we're going to get into a little bit how to develop your psychic senses as a whole. So how to alert your third eye a little bit and alert your senses that you want to start developing this kind of ability, and what can you do to start making your senses be a little bit more aware and a little bit more in tune, and be able to flex that muscle a little bit. Okay, here we go. All right, so the first idea is to go for a walk. I know it sounds crazy, right? Go for a walk, and that's supposed to help your psychic ability. Go for a walk in your neighborhood. Bring a little pen and a notebook. Take your time. Notice every detail of everything you see in your neighborhood. Just kind of look at it. Notice all the details of it. Look out for 3 things: beauty, changes, and faces. That's really what you're looking for. Beauty. What are you passing that you go, oh, that's beautiful? Why is it beautiful to you? What makes that beautiful to you? Changes. So from one day to the next, or from one week to the next, what has changed since the last time I went walking? Is it a little bit darker today because it's starting to get darker earlier? Are the leaves just a little bit different color? Is there someone that started a construction project on their house and now you can kind of see some of the supplies lining up? What has changed since the last time you went through here? And faces. Try to see the beauty in every little thing. Notice if something has changed since the last time you walked. Look for faces everywhere. I don't mean the people that you pass. I mean, look for faces in the bark of the tree. Look at the clouds and see if you can find faces in the clouds. Look at the way someone mows their lawn and see if you can find faces in the directions that the lawnmower made. Look at, I love trees. Trees are my favorite. I'm really good at pointing out faces in trees, because I definitely believe in tree spirits. So for me, it's really, I love the bark on trees and old trees, the way they have little holes in them that squirrels have gone through, and but other plants, flowers. Can you look at a rose and find a face in the rose? Sometimes houses themselves, like Amityville Horror. Have you ever seen that movie? The house itself looked like a face with the 2 eyes, and it just looked like a face. So you're looking for faces to give an outlet to whatever is trying to come through. That will allow you, when you see faces like that, to think, they could be, because what you're going to be doing as we practice certain ones, and certainly as we start to practice clairvoyance, one of the biggest things about clairvoyance is you have to create, as you're getting these messages, and it's hard to do. Let me finish a sentence. Sorry, guys. ADD brain, it goes all over. It's one of the first things you do is create a dictionary of symbols in your head. And unfortunately, I was like, when I first started trying to do mediumship, I'm like, oh good, I want a triangle to mean this, and I want, if I see a rose, I want it to mean a big love interest. And if I see okay, spirits, that's the symbols I want. It doesn't quite work that way. It will come through as symbols that you should get a sense of what it means. And then eventually, it's almost like you learn a new language with the other side, with your guardians, with your ancestors, with whoever it is that's passing those messages to you. You will learn that symbolism language with them. So they will pass you a symbol, and you're thinking about it and saying to the person you're trying to read, okay, I see a work boot, like a brown, the brown work boots with the steel toes in them. So, does your husband wear those kind of boots? Is he a laborer type person? And if that answer is yes, then the symbolism dictionary that you're creating is, okay, I can use that. I can use a work boot. And if you show me that, I'm going to start to realize that you're meeting a laborer, someone who works outside, someone who works on a machine that they need steel toe boots. So that is the language that you're learning and passing and giving, and that back and forth will start to create your language between your spirit world and yourself. And that's why you want to practice. And that the first time when I started mediumship class, that was the hardest part for me, is I didn't want to make a mistake. I didn't want to say, did your grandmother die? Is your grandmother not here anymore? And have them go, no, my grandmother's fine. But when you are first learning and practicing, you need to learn that language with your spirit guides, with the people who are going to be passing you those messages. You need to and understand that. So at first you may not get it all right, and that's okay. Keep talking. The more you talk, the more you're like, okay, if that's not it, if your grandmother hasn't died, and I saw a symbol or I saw something come through that's what it said to me, tweak it a little bit. Okay, it doesn't mean that. Do you have an older woman in your life that has passed on? It might not be a family member. It might be a mentor. It might be a friend. Or, keep going. Something along those lines until you get that. And then, again, that symbolism will start to come through. That was way, way off topic, so I'm sorry. But you get where we're coming from. That all came from a walk. So do that, and at least, try to go once a week. It'd be good if you went a couple times a week and just kept this journal and started writing stuff down, and you'll see that you start to recognize it more. Your brain is now seeking out these symbols. So that's what we're doing, is training your brain to really be open to the symbology that is around you and start to recognize it more. Okay? Next. And this is vital. Vital, vital, vital. As far as I'm concerned, this is the most important thing. Meditate. Meditate, 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 meditate. Meditate every day. If you are going to start to really work on your spiritual gifts and your psychic ability, it is vital, vital, vital. Number one important that you meditate every day. And that is because we are trying to train our mind to recognize things more easily. Things that sometimes we recognize anyways, but we don't always practice. We don't keep ourselves open to that all the time. So if you are shutting down the thinking, ego part of your brain every day for, I don't care if it's 5 minutes, guys. If everybody can find 5 minutes a day to say, okay, do it one way or the other. Either that app I was telling about, Insight Timer app, and do a guided meditation. I'm a person that it's hard for me sometimes to meditate in silence. Some people cannot meditate with that stuff in their ear, with people talking in their ear. It's too distracting. To me, I need that guidance. I need to be guided down the road to what I'm focused on. Otherwise, my brain just keeps going all over the place trying to find something to focus on. So I like the guided stuff better, but at least 5 minutes a day. I would say, honestly, I would say at least 15 minutes a day. So if you can, take 15 minutes either when you wake up if you're a morning person, or before you go to bed, or on your lunch break, or when you get home from work before you start dinner and all that stuff. Take 15 minutes to do a guided meditation, to do a silent meditation, to do, some people like the kind of elevator music, soft music, or I know sometimes I do wooden flute music, drumming, shamanic drumming. Do something to shut that brain down. It will help you stay grounded. It will train your mind to stay focused. Even more, while meditating, you will learn how to release any blockages preventing you from receiving clear messages. So it allows you after, say, a month of meditating, after a week, really, you should be able to see, after a week of meditating, you should be able to see it's a little bit easier to get into that state of mind. It's a little bit easier to go, okay. And what we're doing is training our mind for that time when we want to give a psychic reading, when we want to practice that psychic spiritual message, to clear your mind and release those blockages, to say, and it's a signal to the universe, to the spirit guides, to whoever you're getting your messages from. I'm open for business. I want to hear your messages. I'm willing to try to interpret what you need to tell me. That's a big signal. With time, your energetic field will balance itself and your vibrational frequencies will naturally raise. Thus, all your psychic senses will become stronger, and that's why meditation needs to become second nature, your go-to method to clear your mind. It becomes easier and easier, and eventually you are able to shut your eyes, take a big breath, ground yourself, and that is the signal. I am open to messages. It is by far the easiest way of attaining an altered state of consciousness, which is needed in all kinds of psychic readings. For sake of this video, we're not going to go into specific instruction, but like I said, somewhere, either you're a person that needs quiet, meditate on your breath, or go on to that app. If you have a different app, that's great. I do recommend Insight Timer just because I've used it a lot. But it has a million different guided meditations, and you can say, I only have 5 minutes. You can say, I only have 10 minutes. This is how long I have to meditate, and it'll only give you that many minutes. So I find it easy that way, because sometimes I don't have a lot of time either. Okay, so meditate every day. If you're going to start a process of opening up yourself psychically, meditate every day for a while. Keep a psychic journal. Start a notebook. I have little steno notepads all over the place. Choose the notebook that you like, but is small enough to carry in your everyday life. Every time you notice something unusual, strange occurrences, strange coincidences, which are not coincidences at all, synchronicity type moments, write it down, because it might be a sign from your spirit guides. Once you're opening yourself up, you're going to see more and more of this. Suddenly it's going to be like, am I receiving messages? That was a weird thing. Maybe I need to write that down, so that now you're training your mind again to stay open and to recognize if something does happen. Oh, this could be a message. I have to pay attention more. Every time you receive a message by one of your psychic senses, write it in your journal too. Let's say you're at work and suddenly you, do I smell something burning? And no, there's nothing around, and you really check around your office and no, nobody's burning popcorn, there's nothing burning. You kind of pick up the phone and you call home to say, hey, did somebody leave the stove on at home or anything? No? Okay, well, write it down. I smelled something burning, because something may come up later that you realize, oh, that was a message. That was a message. And now, even if you weren't exactly sure what it meant, later it may come to you. Someone may go, oh, this is what happened to me. And you're like, I smelled something burning. Okay? This is really important. After every meditation session, write every feeling, image, sound, or thought that you had. All right. If you're like me, I kind of go through a lot of thoughts sometimes, even in my meditation. But if I have a specific sense of, wow, I was really given this image that I don't know what it meant, all right, it wasn't something normal, write it down. Because again, as you open yourself up, you're going to start getting more and more messages. The journal is a way of telling your brain that those things are normal, and with time you'll become better in remembering them. In the same vein, start recording your dreams. Start a dream journal if you can. I have a dream journal by my bed. I've been talking about it forever. I know my hubby's going to use it to, lock me away someday, but I'm telling you what, I have some weirdo, whacked out kind of dreams in there. But I have very intense, very vivid, very lifelike dreams that to me are very intense. I also have a lot of dreams that I have dreamt since I was a kid that I kind of dream over and over. Or I have several places that I have that don't exist as far as I know. But I have made up, because I work in a hospital, I have a hospital in my dreams that is kind of a conglomerate of some of the hospitals I've worked at and also some other stuff. But I can tell you where CT is in that hospital and where my boss's office is and how many x-ray rooms we have. And then when I turn the corner, there's the bathroom there. Because I've been there in my dreams many, 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 many times. Start writing down all that. Next is practice spiritual hygiene. What does that mean? This is also simple. As psychics, we tend to pick up outside energy from our surroundings, and we need to cleanse our energetic field every day. Definitely, especially if you're somewhat empathic. By keeping your aura clean, you ensure nothing obstructs your psychic senses, thus you receive messages more easily. There are a lot of ways to cleanse your aura. You can use selenite. You can sage yourself. You can there's some great auric cleanse your aura, cleanse your chakras on YouTube. If you listen to one of those cleanse and recharge your chakras. You can do a meditation, specifically type in cleanse chakras or cleanse aura onto the Insight Timer, and there's lots of meditations in there too. There's lots of different ways to do it. Go for a walk and imagine the wind is carrying away anything you don't need anymore, is cleansing all your chakras and recharging them. You can stand with your bare feet on the ground. Picture that your feet grow roots out of your feet and delve into Mother Earth, and everything that you don't need just flows out, and Mother Earth is able to energize that and use it in whatever way she needs to. And then picture beams of light coming out of your head and giving it to Father Sky, who reaches down and cleanses and recharges and re-energizes. Takes a couple minutes, but you feel so much better when you're done because you've gotten rid of all that crap you don't need. Visualization practice. There's a lot of visualization practices. You can do it with meditations that take you someplace else, that take you to meet your spirit guides. There's all kinds of visualization practices. So if you want to practice clairvoyance, close your eyes Think about a common object that you use all the time. Imagine what it looks like. Try to really see it as if you were taking a picture of it in your mind's eye. Turn it from side to side. Notice the little details. Open your eyes and look at the object and see if you missed anything, if you were able to reproduce it perfectly. And when that gets too easy, go for a more complicated something. Okay? That's how you're going to practice the clairvoyance to start out with. Clairsentient. Close your eyes. Recall the texture of something you know. For example, think about the fur of your cat and really try to feel its softness. Pet your cat to compare. Repeat for all types of textures and shapes. Next, do the same for emotions. Try to feel sad, angry, happy. See what happens to your body when you're feeling sad, cold. Can you produce chills if you're thinking about standing with a t-shirt on in the middle of winter and feeling that wind whip through you and how cold it is? Can you create goosebumps? That's practicing that clairsentience. Clairaudience. Sit in a quiet room. Close your eyes. Listen to every sound of your surroundings. Then when you're ready, try to hear a particular sound in your mind's ears. Reproduce the sound of rain, of burning fire, of a thunderstorm. When it becomes too easy, try to reproduce the voice of someone you know very well with various words, emotions, tones. Let's say I'm going to think that my husband is very angry and what his voice sounds like. Now he's very happy. And what does his voice sound like? And he's laughing. What does his voice sound like? Can you reproduce that in your ears? Then try it with music. So I have sat at the office before on my lunch break and sat in the dark and played a whole song in my head without having the music on. Can I think of the whole song, how it goes, when the bass comes in, all that? Can you do that in your head? Clairgustance, same idea. Start with a glass of water. So pretend you are drinking a glass of water. What does that feel like in your mouth? What does that feel like as you swallow it? Is it so cold that you could feel it coming down your windpipe? Think about something you'd love to eat. Reproduce its taste, texture in your mouth. Really taste it. Practice with all kinds of flavors. Ones you don't like, ones you do like, ones you love, one that make your mouth water. They're so good. Can you make your mouth water? That's practicing it. Clairalience. Think about an odor that you like. Remember how it smells. Try to smell it in your mind's eye. So my go-to is I always go to Thanksgiving at my grandmother's house, which is this house actually. It's funny now. And the pumpkin pie is in the oven. And what does that smell like? I can smell it for sure. That pumpkin pie, just that pumpkin spicy, nutmeggy smell. And then I can go to other stuff that she would cook, and that for me, smell is a very big sense for me, so that one's kind of easy. But claircognizance, this one is a little bit more complicated. It has to do with intuition a lot. So if you're looking for ideas, we'll talk about it. It'll come to you more if you're meditating every day. That claircognizance that's kind of practicing that too. We can talk about a little bit later because it's a little bit more complicated how to actually practice with that. Okay, so there's a lot of different ways to practice those, and we're at 25 minutes again. See, I told you I haven't even gotten to the forms of divination. So I'm going to try to upload at least one or two of these and take a little bit of a break, and then I would like to hopefully get into our different forms of divination. Yay! But start to practice if you can. If this is something that you want to enhance, let's practice together. Let's do it. Blessings. I hope everything's great. It's going to be a great weekend, and maybe we'll try to do a live session to do some practice. Sound like an idea? Blessings, guys.